Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are, depending when you're listening, depending when we drop it. You know the deal. My name is Josh Jackal, and on This Week in Sports, we have a very, very special guest, a one-time or a two-time or a three-time. I don't know how many times. This guy is a junior hockey legend. He's broadcasted all over Western Canada, all over North America. I'm so thankful that we have him on this episode of the podcast. This is Cam Moon, the Oilers play-by-play. Cam, tell the people what's up.
All right. Thanks for having me, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah, it makes it sound like I've been a bunch of places. I guess I have.
You have.
I have.
I mean, you told me that you traveled around, obviously, for junior hockey.
Yep.
And then you obviously had some other gigs in broadcasting.
Yep.
We'll get into that.
Sure.
We're going to get into the Oilers, obviously. You being the Oilers play-by-play announcer, which is every time it comes out of my mouth and I'm saying it that I have you on my podcast is actually crazy.
I'm happy to be here, and thanks for having me. I appreciate
you're
it.
the man, Cam. He's also one of the nicest gentlemen I've ever met in my life. Like as soon as I talked to you on the phone that one day, I'm like, I really, really like this guy.
Well, you and I have a lot of common ground.
We do. We love baseball, which we're going to get into as well. You're in the exact position I want to be in one day, hopefully, calling sports play-by-play.
It can happen. You can make it happen.
And this is just having this podcast it means a lot to me, and having you on this means a lot. So, you were at Oilers practice. Did they practice this morning, or was that a media day?
No, they had practice, and then we had media availability after. So they're getting set here for the regular season, which starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
The time that we're recording this is the day before the regular season for the Oilers anyway.
Yeah, Kraken start tonight.
Yep, that's right. There's a couple of games tonight. So, this is that time of year that it's so exciting because everybody's fired up. And it doesn't matter what team you're following or you're a fan of. Everybody, for the most part, thinks their team is good right now.
You're saying there's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Because everybody's 0-0 right now.
Yeah.
There's no warts on their game as it sits. So everybody's pretty optimistic. And I would say that is certainly the case in Edmonton, and it should be, given the trajectory of the team over the last few years, and then the moves that they made in the offseason.
I think we made some good moves. I think our additions have outweighed our losses in the offseason. What do you think? As a whole,
I would absolutely agree. And it was somebody had asked Mike Smith today at the media availability about the team's good preseason and the fact that they didn't give up a lot of goals or a lot of scoring opportunities. And Mike Smith was quick to point out that the team has added two veteran defensemen back there.
Huge.
Yes, in Duncan Keith and Cody Ceci.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot, having that type of experience. So, yeah, I would say those additions, Zach Hyman coming in up front has helped. He'll play a top six forward role. He'll also, see a lot of time on the power play.
Mm-hmm. And I heard our power play is has been deadly this preseason. I seen a quote by Duncan Keith saying it's the best power play he's ever seen.
Well, it was first in the NHL the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You put Zach Hyman on there, and I mean, it just makes it even that much better.
Well, a little more depth too, right?
Yep, yeah, for sure.
Right, if you're missing a player or whatever, you have some moving parts where you can put a player in, take a player out, kind of thing, which is obviously a plus. You think Duncan Keith though?
Yes.
Do you think he has another solid year or two in him?
I think he does, and here are the reasons why. I think he's in a situation now here in Edmonton where he's not going to be relied upon as a one or two guy. So he's not going to be shouldering that responsibility. That's going to be Darnell Nurse, and for the most part with Tyson Barrie.
Yeah.
At least that's how it looks right now.
Yeah, 1-2,
Things can change for sure.
Of course.
But I think he's going to be in a situation where he can be incredibly useful. I've talked to players that have played with Duncan Keith, and every one of them raves about the guy as a person, but as a defenseman too. And they all think that his situation coming here to Edmonton is perfectly suited for him. And I think it is too. And from what I could gather from the preseason, for whatever that's worth, is I saw him keep getting better as it went once he started
A
playing.
little more chemistry.
Yeah.
Who is he playing with?
Cody Ceci.
Cody Ceci.
Yeah.
So
And-
2 new guys back
Yes.
in the new system.
And the last preseason game against Vancouver, in Vancouver, Darnell Nurse and Tyson Berry weren't dressed. So those two were really the number one pair for that game, and they did really well, I thought. So
Nice.
yeah, I think
He's in his later 30s, right? Duncan Keith?
yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's, I think, a 2-time Stanley Cup champion with Chicago. 3-time. I think it's 3-time.
He's three.
3-time.
Three.
3-time
That's right.
Stanley
Three.
Cup champion. You cannot replace or have someone with that kind of veteran leadership in a lineup and not be a better team.
Yeah.
And that experience, I think, will go, obviously, like a long, long way when it comes to April.
And I think it
March and
helps
April.
in the maturation and the development of a guy like Evan Bouchard too, to have a resource like that on the back end there with them. So yeah, I think in playoff time it's going to be absolutely crucial because Duncan Keith has been through this.
He's been
how
there.
many times?
He's been all the way to the end, the very, very end, multiple times, and he's seen what it takes to be there and what how to get there.
So I think that's all very positive.
You think Darnell Nurse is going to take another step forward in becoming number one D-man?
I think so as he moves. I mean, last year was an amazing year for him.
He had a great year last year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's going to put up points and score goals like he did last year. Because that was, or at the same rate that he did. I guess they're playing more games this year, so maybe he will get to that number. But he just continues to get better and better. Like,
still,
I know.
I love that.
And that's awesome. And he plays physical, and he's tough to play against. And
he is.
He is.
He's got that sandpaper about him, right? And he's not scared of anybody.
No.
I remember in like his rookie year, we were playing Los Angeles, and he dropped the gloves against Milan Lucic.
Yeah.
He didn't even hesitate.
No. Not that you want him fighting now, because you don't. He's your number one defenseman.
No.
So, but he's
not scared.
Not at all. But I like his game last year, and I'd like to think that he's going to continue to rise. And
I hope
know
so.
he signed that deal that is a significant deal
It was
that kicks in
big
next
deal.
year. Yeah.
Big deal. What is it? $9 million a year?
9 and a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kicks in next season. But I mean,
that's a big commitment on the Oilers'
part.
It
is. But the landscape, I thought, in the summer before Darnell signed that deal had changed because some guys had signed some big tickets, some number one defensemen. So it sort of changed the landscape of that. And hey, that's how it goes. That's business. But,
and yeah, the fact that we're giving him this money, I think, just goes to show how much the Oilers are invested in him, and like we're all about Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
This is our man. This is our guy,
and he wants to be here.
And well, yeah, and he's had that relationship with the other big guns for quite some time.
Yes.
Before we get to the big guns, another older veteran player. What do you think about Mike Smith's capabilities this year?
Well, I'm going to preface everything I say right now.
Okay.
In that I have a goalie crush on Mike Smith. I think he's an amazing netminder.
I think he's great, dude.
Like last year, and last year was my first year broadcasting games here, so I had watched him on TV, but I mean, I hadn't watched him like a lot. And then last year, I'm seeing him every game, and I'm seeing him every practice. And what I see is a guy that tries so hard every practice, every game. It's never from lack of effort. And his ability to play the puck is I mean, he's second to none in the league. But just that, I find it inspirational, the way he plays the game.
I think he's 39 years old now. And I remember Tippett saying last year, he's one of the most in shape athletes he's ever seen in his life.
He'd be in the top 3, I would think, toughest guys on the team.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that. Game 1's tomorrow. The last game I went to was when he fucked up Cam Talbot.
Oh, yeah.
In Calgary.
In Calgary.
That was the last hockey game I ever attended. So, like, because of the pandemic hit shortly thereafter.
So
I could actually attest to what you're saying. He is a tough dude.
Yeah.
He's a tough dude. Like Cam Talbot didn't even land one.
So that exhibition game against Vancouver that was here, he got an assist in the game. He almost got into a tilt because somebody ran into him, but
In the preseason, I love it.
and then he almost scored a goal late in the game.
Legit?
Yeah, I'm here to tell you. So could you imagine if he had scored, had an assist, and
got
got into a fight?
fight.
A goal with Gordie Howe?
For a goalie?
Like, he was that close. You have no idea how much I was cheering for it.
I bet.
That would be history.
It would be legendary.
Yes.
That will never happen after. That's never happened before. That'll never happen after.
But it could.
Mike Smith's the one guy.
It could happen this year.
Mike Smith's the one guy that would do it because he's fought. He's scored a goal. He's actually scored a goal when he played with Arizona.
He fired. So it was late in the game in that the last home preseason game, and the Oilers were only up by 1. The puck got dumped in, and in my head, I'm like, do it. And sure as heck, I mean, it's preseason.
Did he shoot it?
Oh, yeah. He just missed. But I was like, do it, because he can just launch it, and it's going over everybody. There's nothing.
He's got those skills. I remember he played with Marty Turco early in his career,
Yes.
and Turco was a really good puck handler, and obviously he learned from one of the best. And I love having him back there because sometimes he will make mistakes, but his ability to play the puck and get assists and help the defenseman be on a third defenseman completely outweighs the mistakes he makes.
I agree.
Because having someone back there that can stop the puck behind the net and keep the play moving for your defenseman, it's you can't replace that.
And you can see it on a dump in when Smith goes to play the puck. If you watch the two defensemen, like a lot of times you'll just see one go back to outlet so that Smith can give him the puck, and the other guy's already moving up ice.
Beautiful.
And that's how quick they can get it out of their own end when a guy like Smith can do what he does. And he can rip it. Like, he's got hard passes on the tape. It's something.
It creates such an element, and it's hard to defend something like that because you don't see that from other teams that often. So having that on your back end and having that as a threat hopefully translates into some pretty good play, some good assists from Mike Smith, because it did last year.
Yeah, it does. And I just like to see how easy the team can get the puck out of their own end because of that. Instead of,
oh my God,
next thing you know, if
how many times
you chase it around,
how many times are our young D stuck in our own zone trying to get that out?
That happens to everybody.
Yeah,
everybody that has young defense.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Dude, it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating.
But when you got a goalie who can move the puck that well, it changes it.
So much easier. So to our big guns, though.
Yes.
Just want to start straight up. You think it's possible for Connor McDavid to hit 150 points this year?
I don't know.
He had 105 and 56 last year.
I know, but it was an all-Canadian division. This year is real travel against a bunch of different teams.
Bunch of good teams.
Yeah.
Not specifically in our division, but
it's just that last year, like when the team would go out east, they'd go out and play like 2 against Montreal, 2 against Toronto or whatever, and then come back. The travel's pretty easy. This year, it's regular travel. So now the travel's a little harder.
So you'll take the under on. I'll put the.
I'm never going to bet against them.
Okay, well here, let me put the over under for you. Make it easy. Let's put the over under at 142 and a half. You taking the over? You taking the under, Cam?
142. I'll take the over.
Oh, he's taking the over.
I'll take the over.
Yo, on This Week in Sports, Cam's taking the over.
Well, life's too short to bet the under.
That's right.
It's way more fun to bet the over.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. Cam Moon calling 143 points or more.
Now you're getting me in trouble.
Connor McDavid. All right, well, I'll make it a little easier. I made it hard for the McDavid one a little bit. Leon, how about this? Leon, over under 105.5.
Oh, over.
Over?
Yeah, I'll give him the over.
Yeah, I made that one a little easier for you.
Yeah, thanks.
But he's rocking his own line so far in preseason, right?
It's been both.
Oh yeah.
Early in the preseason, Leon was playing with Nugent Hopkins and Yamamoto.
Yeah.
That we've seen before.
I like that line.
And then late in the preseason, and most likely to start the season, it's Draisaitl, McDavid, Puljujarvi. And then
that's a deadly line, though. Oh my god.
And then Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, and Yamamoto. The thing is, for the coaching staff for the Oilers, is when you add a guy like Zach Hyman, it gives you the ability to mix and match now, and hopefully still get production.
Well, yeah, you won't lose really anything.
Exactly. Well, you want to be able to have lines 2, 3, and 4, especially 2 and 3, be able to produce something offensively. And I think with Zach Hyman in there, that helps quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's been both. And good on the coaching staff, I think, for doing that, because over the course of a season, there's going to be times where you need to switch that mid-game, and everybody needs to be comfortable with it.
Well, yeah. How many times have you seen that where Tip goes
Yes.
McDavid Draisaitl halfway through the game because we need a goal or a push?
And it depends on the matchups. It depends on what the other team is throwing at you. And if they're throwing something at you when you have those two split that is neutralizing what you're doing, you need to now change things to make it work in your favor. And this way, with a little more depth, and I think the fact that you've got a Warren Fogle on the third line and a Derek Ryan on the third line makes a huge difference.
These guys are veterans. These guys have seen NHL play. They're not new to this, right?
No. Fogel's been really good at winning puck battles in the corner, driving to the net, going to the front of the net. Derek Ryan's just really smart and wins a lot of faceoffs. They've been playing with Zach Kassian, so that's
huge.
Good.
That's huge because faceoffs has always been a little iffy the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, it's a lot better if you start with the puck.
It's easy as that. It's easy as that. So I think a lot of people are predicting us making the playoffs. Obviously, making the playoffs the last couple of years, but obviously success. It won't be a successful season in a lot of people's minds if we don't win a round or two.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
Do you think we have the ability and the experience now to win a round or two?
I think so. For the guys that are back from last year, that kick in the pants that was the 4-game sweep to the
devastating, man.
Winnipeg Jets. Yeah, it was tough.
Devastating.
3 of them were in overtime.
Could have went either way.
Yeah, I didn't feel like they got steamrolled by the Jets by any stretch.
We didn't.
But I'll give the Jets credit. They found a way to win.
They swept us.
They did.
That's all it comes down to.
Hellebuck was really good in goal. I got to give him that.
He's one of the better goalies in the league, though.
Absolutely, Vezina Trophy winner a couple of years ago. So, but I think this is a team that could finish first or second in the Pacific, and I think this is a team that can win a round in the playoffs. And after that, I mean, who knows, right? Look at the run that Montreal went on last spring.
Right.
Once they won a round, and then all of a sudden that happens sometimes where a team gets on a roll and away they go. But you got to win the first round to make that happen.
You have to win the first round, Toronto.
Yeah. You sound like an Oilers fan.
Personally, I like our chances. Obviously, making the playoffs. I think we have a good team.
Yeah.
It wasn't a huge step forward as far as the additions. I think it just kind of was like a side step forward a little bit. It wasn't like a huge step forward because we lost, some decent pieces
for sure.
But we also had a good team last year, right? And the fact that we added a little bit to it, I like your prediction of first or second because we totally could win the division. I just hope that during the playoffs, our experience of losing last year really, really drives us, and also our additions, Keith mainly, are able to help us, just relax.
Yeah,
understand that it's the same game. You got to do the same things that you were doing all year to get you there, and just get past that hump. You know what I mean?
And the Tampa Bay Lightning are a great example. And they've won the Stanley Cup the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But the years prior to that, like the couple years prior to that, they had a really good team.
They're the best team. They're the President's Trophy winning team.
And was that 3 years ago?
3 years ago
when they lost to Columbus.
They got swept.
Round. Exactly.
Being the President's Trophy winner.
These things can happen. And if you've got a good group and a good core within that team, it's going to pay dividends down the line that you learn from that. Like
you have to, or else what's the point?
Yeah. Where you go, hold on. We were really good during the regular season. It all fell apart in the playoffs. Okay, what was the difference? Why did that happen? And when you figure that out, if you have the horses on your team that can pull it off, well, you will gain success. And Tampa's a great example of it. But and hopefully that's how it works out for the Oilers this year and the years beyond.
I think we have a better chance of it working out for us than the Leafs do for them.
Hey, they got a pretty good lineup too, though.
They got a really
do.
They got a really good lineup.
Yeah,
but
they do.
the same thing happened to them last year. They got eliminated in the first round.
Yeah.
And the year before.
And then you got a team like Montreal that, just squeezed into the playoffs.
No one even expected them to do anything last year, right?
And like if you remember the last 2 weeks, like it was close between them and Calgary as to who was getting in.
Yeah.
And they got in, and then they made it, they made it work for them. So, yeah, that's the beauty of the playoffs is
anything can happen.
Anything can happen, especially at the NHL level. There's not a huge gap from the top team getting into the bottom team. Like the gap isn't as big as you think, and that's why teams that just get in can go on, miracle runs.
2005, 2006 Oilers.
Yeah. That was an amazing.
Got in like the last game of the year, I think it was.
I don't recall that.
Yeah.
I've wiped that from my memory. That season ended with that Game 6 win at Rexall Place, and then the rest of it, it's gone. Yeah.
Okay. So go Oilers! I can't believe I have the Oilers play-by-play announcer here.
Yeah.
You're gonna be traveling with the team again this year.
Well, knock on wood, that's how it's going to work. It did in the preseason anyway, so I hope that continues. I find it's a lot easier to call the game if you're actually at it, as opposed to calling it off a television screen, which we did last year. It was very challenging.
I bet. So where did you do it last year then?
So the road games, we would be at 6:30 Ched Studios. The home games, we were in the rink. But the road games, we were at 6:30 Ched Studios.
And you just watch it off a monitor?
Yeah. The thing is, we would have the rink sounds in our headsets. So there was a feed of the rink mics that would come to us, and then you'd have to sync it with the television so that the rink sounds matched with what you were seeing.
Yeah.
Because we're hearing the rink sounds in real time as they're happening, and of course the television
takes a little longer.
Is 3-4 seconds off of that. So once we got that sync, you get that synced at the start of the broadcast, then you'd go from there. But yeah, that actually helped quite a bit.
The rink sounds?
Yeah, because you can hear the puck hit the glass. And of course, there's nobody in the rinks. So you can hear everything. So you can hear the whistle. You can hear the guys calling for the puck. And
calling them chirping and whatnot.
We got more than a few F-bombs on the radio by accident because, those mics are like right there.
It happens.
It happens.
It's hockey.
But yeah, it was. So once you had that kind of helped put me in the rink. Those sounds, and you could kind of feed off of that, but there's no fans, so there's no like atmosphere.
There's no energy.
No, and that was the same for the home games, but even more so when you're sitting in a studio, not at the game, and it's just that dead quiet. Like
no feel for how intense it is or anything.
So in the preseason, having been at the games on the road, and the one in Winnipeg really stood out for me because it was sold out.
We're sold out Winnipeg?
It was sold out in the preseason. I mean, jammed. It was awesome.
Wow. Yeah. That must have felt nice to call a game in a sold-out arena finally again.
Exactly. So that you can't help but get into
that. That would have been your first sellout game calling in the NHL level?
I guess it would be, yes.
Wow.
Yes, it would be, yeah.
A preseason game.
Yeah.
Well,
a little smaller rink. In Winnipeg, but still it was 15,000 plus.
I can imagine how excited you are tomorrow because you best believe Rogers Place is going to be rocking.
But I'm not calling the first two.
You're not calling the first two? You got them off?
Those are two national broadcasts. So Jack Michaels will call those. And then after that, there's a lot of me because then Jack's doing television all that time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I will be.
Will you be in the building tomorrow?
Oh yeah. I'll be.
Nice.
I'll be there.
Nice.
But yeah, I hope the rinks are full. I mean that game against Calgary. I mean that was a pretty exciting game, and the Oilers came back from 3-0 in the preseason, so that was fun. There was some atmosphere.
Nice. Yeah.
But the one that I think had the best atmosphere, it was the Winnipeg game, but it was on a Saturday at 5:00. So it seemed to have there was more people there because it was a 5:00 game. It was earlier. People could go out after.
That's right. Yeah.
So that was nice to see. And downtown was kind of
a little bit bumping a little
bit after the game, which was good.
Nice.
Looked a little bit more back to what we had before.
Yes. Yeah. Because what we had before was nice because
it was. Yeah.
Dude, it was.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Hopefully we do. Hopefully we do.
Yeah.
So before we get into a little bit of your background, I just want to touch on some points from around the NHL. Seattle Kraken's first season.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fired up for that.
I'm actually more stoked for that than the Vegas goal. I hope though that they don't have a crazy run like the Golden Knights have had, because it's, to me, that's really unfair. These guys just get in the league
Oh, and they're good right out of the box.
right out of the gate.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so let me ask you, like, what do you think?
Jeez.
Do you think like with the players they drafted and the moves they made, do you think they have a good enough team to challenge? I don't think they're as good as the Vegas Golden Knights were the first year.
No, I don't think they're as good as Vegas was their first
Yeah.
year, but I think they're still decent club that will push.
You think?
Like, yeah, I think they'll hover around a playoff spot.
Yeah, I seen Sportsnet had the over under of their wins at 42.5.
Jeez, yeah,
That's a
that
good number.
puts them in the mix.
It's a good number.
Yeah, that puts them in the mix. I'm excited to see what they did with the rink.
Yeah,
Because I remember I've been to that old rink lots of times, and the only thing that stayed the same was the roof.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
They basically gutted the whole thing. And started from scratch. So I'm very intrigued to see what it looks like.
I only seen pictures, like just pictures of the players.
Yeah.
With it looks like a unique looking interior.
Yeah,
Because the one side is kind of like flat,
yeah,
with like box seats and whatnot, and then the other 3/4 of it is kind of more traditional. But like the one side is, I think, like more like straight up and down. But
and I want to see how Seattle embraces the team, which I'm sure, by all accounts, it's been amazing.
well, yeah,
so far.
they sold out of their season seats.
Yeah,
Like 2 years ago or
That's
something,
good.
when they announced
Yeah.
it, right? Or no, they had, what was it, 10,000? Yeah, 10,000 pre-orders of season seats before it was like actually announced that they would get their team.
it's crazy.
So, yeah, hopefully the atmosphere in there is good. Hopefully they do the under on the 42.5 though, for our sake.
Yeah,
because they are playing in our division.
That's
But
right.
here's what I said about the Vegas Golden Knights when they first came in the league. They were in our division. I thought we were going to beat up on them because they were a new team.
They were really good.
They were
Yeah.
really, really good. They went to the Stanley Cup final that first year.
Well, they started with good goaltending, and Seattle's got good goaltending. So
Who do they
Philip
draft?
Grubauer
Oh, shit.
from Colorado. So yeah, they're going to be decent. They will be a decent team.
Okay, so Cam's predicting decent team in Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm predicting hopefully not as decent, but
That's wishing.
yeah, I'm wishing exactly. One other note that I wrote down though, we remember the first time we hung out, we watched the Montreal game in the
Yes.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Great time. Even though we lost, still a good time. Montreal lost.
Yeah.
Carey Price was a big part of that run, obviously, a big part of the season. He's out indefinitely.
Yeah.
Do you think that's obviously gonna affect the Montreal Canadiens quite substantially? They have Jake Allen.
Yeah, he's good.
He was a number one.
Yep.
For St. Louis. So I mean, he has that experience.
And he played. I know when he played against the Oilers last year, when Allen was in goal, he was good. So at least the drop off there isn't huge, as long as Allen can stay consistent on however much time he's got to carry the mail here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the question mark, although I think he's more than capable of doing it, quite honestly. So it's opportunity for Jake Allen. And if you're the Montreal Canadiens, you're like, thankfully we have Jake Allen, to have that kind of depth and that kind of experience.
Yeah.
Because not everybody has that luxury.
Yeah.
And you lose your number one guy for an extended period of time. That can be quite devastating to some teams.
Yeah.
But
2006.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh,
But
that's a tough time.
As far as what Carey Price is absent for, in particularly, it surrounds a lot of mental health issues and whatnot, and that's something that a lot of players obviously deal with, but no one has really taken the steps as far as like what Carey Price has done.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, you think that's a step in the right direction for sports leagues like and professional athletes to take a step back from their obligations for their mental health?
The hockey mentality going back has always been, just get in there.
Push that shit
exactly.
down. Don't talk about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to see somebody of Carey's stature to
Right.
step forward is awesome. And I hope he gets the help that he needs. And I hope that he comes through the other side, like, in a great way.
Yeah.
The only interaction I've ever had with Carey Price, and this is why I want things to go very well for him, is I was doing the play-by-play in Red Deer, and Tri-City Americans were in town, and Carey Price, I don't even know if he was drafted yet. It might have been his draft year,
Uh-huh.
and he was hurt. I'd have to look. I can't remember if it was his draft year or not.
Yeah.
But he was injured, so he's at the game, but he's not dressed.
I think you might have told me what this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy hosting our radio at that time was Andrew Walker, and Andrew says, "Hey Cam, like I can see Carey's like just standing over there. You want to see if he'll come on in the first intermission at our host location where you can actually watch the game from?"
Yeah.
And Carey's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he came on, comes on the
Nice.
stage, was this amazing interview guest.
Just
Like
a kid too.
he was just a kid,
Yeah.
yet he was so good and so well spoken. And then he hung out on the stage in our host location for the rest of the game because he wanted to hang out with Andrew and watch the game because he was. I don't think they had any other scratches. He was by himself.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, well, what a quality young man this guy is. So,
Not only is he a good player like he was, but
Yeah.
he's also a fan of the game.
and just a good person. You
And a
can
good
tell.
person,
He's just
yeah.
a good person. So I hope everything works out, and good on him for having the jam to step up and say he needed some help. So that's awesome. So I want nothing but the best for him. He probably doesn't even remember that story from Red Deer. Maybe he does. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But for him to do that, I thought, yeah, that was really cool.
Good
and
on
he was
him.
he was a good guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, good on him for not only that, but the career he's had, and
Yeah,
also taking a step back to, figure things out
for sure.
a little bit more. So before we get into the MLB playoffs, of which we're watching right now, I mean, freaking Houston, those cheating ass, bitch ass, bogus
Yeah.
ass team. They're about to eliminate the Chicago White Sox. They're up 7-1 in the eighth. I don't like Chicago. Look,
I don't like Chicago's chances either.
I don't like Chicago's chances either. It sucks. Before we get into all the MLB playoffs,
Yeah.
I know when we first hung out, when we first talked on the phone, you kind of told me about your backstory, where you came from, and you've had quite the journey throughout hockey. And for our listeners, do you maybe want to get into that? Like, you started in the WHL as a player, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I grew up here in Edmonton.
Yeah.
I played Maple Leaf Athletic Club in the Northeast, and I bounced a little bit in junior hockey, but I was gonna, like, in my mind, I wanted to play in the WHL no matter what.
Guy's a legend.
I was gonna do whatever the heck it took. Like, I wasn't like a
Guy's a
highly-
junior hockey
Yeah,
legend.
what? I wanted to do it, and I wasn't like a highly touted player. Like, it wasn't like, oh, well, he'll just play in the WHL. No. I had to go through steps.
Had to work for that.
I did. I played junior A, first in Fort McMurray with the Oil Barons. Then that was my 17-year-old year, and I got traded to St. Albert like halfway through the year, and then I never played because they had two goalies that were older and better. And then I went to Nipawin in the SJHL.
Wait. You're a goalie?
Yeah, that's why I think Mike Smith's the greatest.
Dude,
Yeah,
you've told me some of these stories a couple of times. I never knew you were a goalie.
Hey, it's all coming out now. Hey, it all comes out on the podcast.
This guy was a goalie?
So yeah,
Wow.
and then I went to Nipawin in the SJHL. We had some Edmonton guys there. We had some Alberta guys. I think we had about 8 guys from Alberta on the team. Rob Dahm was coaching. He went on to coach the University of Alberta. Then he coached minor pro. Now he coaches in Europe. And he was a really good coach. And from there, I went to Saskatoon and split a year between Saskatoon and Medicine Hat, and then played my 20-year-old year in Saskatoon. And when I was done, I was like, what the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't going to play pro. So
Yeah.
for every year that you play in the WHL, they'll pay for school after. And it's way better now than it was when I played, but it was even still pretty good then. So I came back and went to Nate and took radio and television arts.
Mhm.
And I played for the hockey team my first year there. And then the second year, I got so lucky. It had nothing to do with skill, and it had everything to do with timing. I got a job doing the color commentary on, back then, TSN used to do WHL games.
Yeah.
And they wanted somebody that had just played in the league.
Give some different insight on it, right?
Yeah, I knew all the players, and
Yeah.
I knew the coaches and stuff.
Sure.
So I had no idea what I was doing, and I was god awful. But I was learning as we went.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did that, and I was working hockey schools in the summer, and then I was like, I wanted to get a play-by-play job, and I got my first play-by-play job in Nanaimo with the Nanaimo Clippers, the BC Junior League.
Did you always have the urge to do play-by-play?
I think so. Once I was out of playing.
Yeah.
When I was playing, maybe not so much.
But you still wanted to be around it, and you knew the ins and outs of it.
Well, I was the guy on the bus that always was telling stories.
You're a good storyteller, man.
I like telling stories.
You are, man.
And doing the play-by-play to me was just telling the big story of that evening's game.
Yeah, that's all it is.
So I was just sort of transitioning over into a different storytelling. So that's what appealed to me.
You got your first job, play-by-play, where?
Nanaimo. So I was in Nanaimo, BC Junior League. I was working at the radio station. So I did the sports on 3 different stations. I called the games for the Clippers. Then my first 2 years, I was their goalie coach.
Really?
Yeah, their head coach, who is Gary Davidson. And Gary was like, well, maybe we should have you come out and work with the goalies. Oh, yeah, sure. And I helped run their hockey school in the summer. So I was busy.
Multifaceted, this guy.
It's junior A. You got to do a lot of different things.
Fair enough.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
So I was 3 years out on the island. And
you must have loved it out there, though, right?
Oh, the lifestyle is wonderful.
Right?
Yes.
I love the island.
The island was good for, fishing and not snowing and those sorts of things.
Oh, just the beauty of it too, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
The going on and off the island with the team during the winter, that got old.
I bet.
Because you can't just leave when you want to leave. You know how it is? You got to wait for the ferry. And that part was a little frustrating. But then I went to Red Deer. A job opened up in Red Deer. And
for the Rebels?
Yes. And I was working for the hockey team, not at the radio station. So I worked for the team. And I had worked a bunch of goalie schools in Sylvan Lake when I was playing junior. And they'd put us up in Red Deer. So I was very comfortable. Like I knew where everything was. And you know what I mean? Like that part.
Yeah, it wasn't new to you.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, I went to Red Deer. And then I was there for 22 years. I did television on the side while I was in Red Deer. So when I first went there, Sportsnet just started. And they started doing WHL games. They took over the CHL package from TSN, who I'd worked with before.
Mm-hmm.
So then I did a bunch of WHL games on Sportsnet those first couple of years, and I did the Memorial Cup in Halifax in 2000.
Nice.
So I was like the color guy. I did color on all those broadcasts.
Cool.
And then I stopped doing Sportsnet, and then Shaw TV started doing all these WHL games. So I did Shaw TV for about 12 years in and around Rebels games.
Okay.
So I would never do a game if the Rebels were playing. That was always my priority. So if you had 72 Rebels games, I might do another 10 games on television. And then in Shaw would pick up a playoff series and then cover the whole series and do every game. So then sometimes I get picked up for those. So the year would be over and I'd have done 100 and some games, like that would happen.
That's a lot of experience right there, though.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of experience, a lot of travel.
A lot of travel.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the WHL, you travel on buses opposed to planes for the most part.
Yeah, unless you're working TV, and then you are on planes.
You are on planes. They hooked you up, eh?
Oh, yeah. Like doing the Sportsnet or the Shaw, they would fly us, unless if it was a Calgary or Edmonton or Medicine Hat.
If it was close, yeah.
I would drive.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I just drive myself. But you're right, that with the team, calling with the Rebels, it was all on the bus.
Yeah. So after you did the Rebels for how long?
22 years.
22 years.
Yeah.
I know you have a house still in Red Deer.
I do, yeah.
So that's that you would still consider that home, or is Edmonton home?
No, Edmonton's home. Edmonton's always been home.
So I remember you telling me the story of how like the hiring process for the Oilers.
Oh, it was fast.
It was fast, but it was kind of extensive because they did a couple of interviews with you.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Just the initial call. How'd you know that there was an opening? How were you able to set yourself up in that situation?
Well, the Oilers had called Brent Sutter, who owns the Red Deer Rebels, and asked permission to talk to me.
So they sought you out.
I guess. Yes, I suppose they did. And then
that's a good sign.
It came together real quick.
Yeah.
And which was good, but also a challenge in that I got hired and I was calling my first game about 3 days later.
Wow.
And there was no preseason last year or nothing.
Oh, yes,
I wasn't
right.
at training camp because I wasn't hired yet. So all of a sudden,
they threw you right in the fire.
Right in the fire. Not only do I have to learn the Oilers, because my knowledge of the Oilers was only in passing.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing before 72, now 68 games in the WHL, you're not watching a lot of NHL games.
Obviously not.
No, you're working all the time.
You got to take care of your work.
Yeah, you're working all the same nights.
Yeah.
So I had to get up to speed on the Oilers. Plus, you had to get up to speed on the opposition because I'm not watching them much either.
No.
So it was a lot.
So that you said it was like 3 days?
Yeah.
Well, it was
overwhelming.
You probably never studied so hard in your life.
In my life.
Yeah.
Like that Bio 30 final looked like a walk in the park now compared to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I just had to get my feet under me and try not to do too much. You know what I mean? I had to just get through it as best I could. And then once you get a few under your belt and you get to know the team and the leagues, like the league and the players a bit better, then it's going to become a little more natural and feel a little better. Like this year coming into it, watching the entire training camp, watching the preseason.
You're so much more prepared, I can imagine.
Oh,
right?
I just feel so much
so
more
comfortable, yeah.
Compared to last year. The first month was crazy. And then calling games off the TV for the first time ever too.
Oh, yes.
So then that came into it and I was like, I had like a fair bit of anxiety going into that first road game, let me tell you.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
Until it got going, and then I realized it wasn't too bad.
But what a first year to get thrown into the bigs, man.
Yeah, it was a little different.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so unique. But I think, all in all, that might be beneficial to you because you experienced something so different before, like at the beginning, and now everything's kind of normal. So you're
right.
prepared for anything man.
You're right.
Yeah, anything that comes at you, it's not going to be, you just, shrug it off now, right?
Yeah, it's funny. Over the course of a broadcast career, especially when you're doing a lot of live events, and I mean play-by-play, these are live games, anything can happen.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
I've seen Zambonis break down in intermissions. I watched in Swift Current one night where the glass broke. They didn't have any more glass.
Oh, my God.
So they cut a piece of plywood, but they cut it the wrong size. And then they'd go cut another piece of plywood and put that in. I had to fill by myself for 50 minutes in Swift Current one night. Like,
that's hilarious.
You never know.
Who's that carpenter? You never heard of a tape measure?
Yeah. Measure twice, cut once. Come on. Because I'm watching these guys, and they're putting it in. So I'm putting the sheet of plywood in there, and I'm like, oh, that's not gonna fit. And they cut it too small. So now I start telling more stories about whatever.
Just trying to fill time.
Just filling. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
That's the thing.
Man.
Like, you never know. I remember we got caught. We were going from Seattle to Portland. And we got caught in traffic on the I-5, like really bad traffic, and showed up like, I don't know, 30 minutes before the game.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Guys are getting dressed as fast as they could. I'm getting up there trying to set up my stuff. Hey, we're on the air right away. We're on there. The guys had like a 10-minute warm-up, and then they played.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Good old WHL.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good times.
So obviously, this is the dream gig.
Oh yeah, no, this is it.
Yeah,
and this is precisely like where I want to be. Like, I want to live in Edmonton. Like, it's just.
You were born here?
Yeah.
You were born here.
We moved around a little bit when I was younger. My dad worked for CN, so sometimes when you work for CN, you can see a few places.
But for the most part,
yeah, I was born here. That we moved to Montreal for a little bit. We lived in Kamloops for a little bit. Then we moved back to Edmonton near the end of grade 5, and then I was here the rest.
So I could imagine traveling with the team this year.
Yeah,
given everything goes smoothly, you're going to see a lot of these. Have you been to a lot of these cities that have NHL teams?
All the Canadian ones, yes.
American ones,
but not a lot of the American ones. Like.
So you're going to see a lot of new places.
I will,
year.
yeah. Like, I've been to New York and Los Angeles and Seattle and
likewise.
Yeah. But I've never been to Minneapolis, or I've never been to Arizona, or you know what I mean, or Nashville, or Tampa, or any of those. So
this will be fun then.
So that part'll be pretty cool
to
see some different places.
Get a different feel for different cultures
The-
around hockey.
No, for sure. The one atmosphere that I can't wait for, the one like of all the road games.
Well, let me try to guess.
I think if you can guess it, there's one road atmosphere that I really can't wait to experience.
Okay, give me two guesses.
Okay.
Give me
And
two
they're not
guesses.
out west.
They're not out west?
It's
Okay.
not out west.
Okay, yeah, two guesses. I think I might get it with the first one.
You might.
Chicago.
No, that would be second.
Oh, okay.
Definitely second. I've heard nothing but great things
Okay,
about
I'll have one more
Chicago
guess.
and the
So,
atmosphere.
is it American? American? Oh, it's okay. Well.
No, it is Canadian.
Well.
One of the
Toronto?
most no.
Montreal?
Yes,
You never
Montreal.
you never been to the Bell Center?
No.
Never.
I've been to Montreal a lot.
Yeah,
In fact, I had been to the Forum.
Yeah,
I was at the old
okay.
Forum.
Yeah, see, because you mentioned you grew up a little bit in Montreal, so I didn't want to guess that.
I'd never been to the Bell Center, and to me, at least the way it looks like on television, to me it looks like the most amazing hockey environment. Like where the game is like they love it there like we love it here.
Mhm.
And it's a little different because the culture is different, but I do appreciate the culture in Quebec. And I love going to Montreal. I've been to Quebec City a bunch of times too, which is also wonderful. But
You've never actually seen a game at the Bell
I've never
Center.
actually seen a game at the Bell Center.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really jacked.
And you're going to be calling one there. Oh,
I hope that works out. Yes.
the life.
Yeah.
I wanted to look it up before I started here, but do you know off the top of your head when we play in Seattle for the first time?
I want to say it's like maybe the first weekend in November.
Yeah, I think it's really.
Yeah, it's in November, I think.
Because that'll be our first like actual look at the new stadium.
That's right, because in the preseason when the Oilers played the Kraken, they played in Everett, home of the Everett Silvertips of the WHL. That's where they played.
Oh, so they didn't even play in their actual arena?
No. The Kraken played all their games around Washington.
Okay,
They played in Kent, they played in Everett, and they played in Spokane.
Maybe to spread the love a
Well,
little
yeah, to get it around Washington State, and maybe there was a few things that needed to get, finished up.
Probably, yeah, because
you know how it goes.
Oh yeah. That's funny then, because the pictures that I did see must have been of these other arenas. Then
those are the other rinks.
Yeah. Okay. So
So they were playing in WHL cities.
So we play the Kraken for the first time on November 1st, but that's in Edmonton.
Oh, okay.
That'll be our first look at them, and then the first time we actually go to Seattle won't be until December 3rd.
Oh, okay.
December 3rd is when
how nice are their uniforms?
I like those uniforms.
Me too.
Did you see Shaquille O'Neal in one? He's a Kraken fan now. They give him a jersey. He was rocking it on social media there.
It'd have to be a big jersey.
Oh my god,
Guy's huge.
That would take like 3 normal jerseys to make.
It's a big guy.
Yeah, huge dude.
Yeah, their jerseys, home and away, both of them are unbelievable.
I'd give them props, and even though I don't like how unfair the Vegas Golden Knights started their franchise, I do like their jerseys
Me too.
and what their logo and everything. Their whole
simple,
and the theatrics they put on before the games.
I heard it's incredible.
Yeah, you expect anything less from Las Vegas, though, right?
No.
Right. But so NHL starts tonight. Pittsburgh at Tampa, game 1 starts in about an hour and a bit, and then Seattle
at Vegas. Right?
At Vegas,
yeah.
That's late. I think that's 8:00 local time here tonight. So finally, NHL season, a full NHL season with fans in the stands, is about to commence. As Sportsnet would say, I think last year their thing was "Game on, baby, game on." Oh yeah, speaking of Sportsnet, if you want to talk to your homies at Sportsnet, ask them why their app's glitching all the time. Cam, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Talk to your connects. Be like, what's wrong with your app?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're watching MLB playoffs right now. It's the bottom of the 8th. Houston, Chicago. I didn't want Houston to win this series at all.
Not many did.
Oh, you should. Altuve got hit earlier in the game. He got hit in the elbow, and the crowd cheered. The crowd went wild. It's hilarious, man. It's hilarious.
Tough in Chicago, hey?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, they go hard. Their fans are so loud, and the Houston Astros are so hated around the league that I actually had to like play it back and watch it again when Altuve got hit, and I heard the cheers. I'm like, ha ha,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. So in this series, it looks like Houston's going to take it. But how about your Dodgers? How do you feel about your Dodgers being down 2-1 right now?
Well, not happy, but their game last night, which I saw some of, and
It was a
fell
good
asleep.
game.
Yeah, Scherzer
you missed
threw
a
well.
good game.
I know,
man.
but I watched the highlights and stuff today. Like, it was unbelievable. First, it was windy in LA.
It was windy. It was windy as heck, man.
There were. I read a story today. There were six baseballs that were hitting that game over 100 miles an hour, and only one of them resulted in a hit.
Oh my god!
Normally, those are hits.
Yes,
if not home runs.
That's right.
But the wind was not. No, it was knocking them down for both teams, but it was knocking them down. I got to give the Giants credit. Like,
well, Longoria was able to hit one out.
He did.
I seen the Dodgers. I think it was the last hit of the game too. They cranked when it came. It was a pinch hitter. He cranked it. He thought it was out.
Yeah,
and then the wind knocked it down.
Max Scherzer pitched
Game
well.
Scherzer went off like
a
1-run game. Dude, that never happens on a home run. They said some stat like it's only happened like a handful of times in MLB history.
So, I hope they stretch it to 5 tonight. I think Walker Buehler is starting on the hill for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, when you're in an elimination game, that the leash is short to change pitchers for sure.
Yeah.
But I hope they get it to the 5th. But if they don't,
they got to get it to the 5th because all my other teams are out. The Blue Jays, right? Obviously, first and foremost, we were hoping that they were going to be in it.
Absolutely.
They won their last game. They did what they could on the last day. They should have won a game or two earlier in the season.
Sure.
Right? They didn't. So we never got that tiebreaker. So the Yankees, I like the Yankees, right? Because my dad always liked them.
Yeah.
They were always in the playoffs. They were always in the big games on TV. So I gained a liking for them, especially going to Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
They got eliminated in the wild card game. We were watching that at the bar.
It. Yeah.
By the Red Sox. Red Sox moved on last night against the Tampa Bay Rays, which is crazy. Tampa Bay, 100-win team. Boop, get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of here.
It can happen.
It can happen. So LA is like my last team where
I hope they're
like I've actually that's one of the few stadiums I have been to is LA Dodger Stadium. I actually did see the San Francisco Giants and the LA Dodgers play on that game. I went there.
Best rivalry going. Yeah.
Great rivalry, and it was a good game. It was like a 2-1 final on that game too. And it was the second game of the year. What was it? 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And we weren't even actually planning on going to a Dodgers game when we were there. We were planning on going to Disneyland, right?
Well, yeah.
And we were looking at how far it was.
It is a long ways away. Yeah.
And traffic, because we were staying downtown LA.
Oh, yeah.
So we were looking how far it was, like a 50-minute drive maybe.
If you're lucky.
If we're lucky, right? Right. And we're looking at that, and then we're also looking at the prices for that and the lines and all that. And we're like, you know what? Maybe we'll do it. Yeah, maybe we'll do it next time. And then we're looking at what else to do. Dodgers are playing tonight. Shit, let's go to the Dodgers game.
Go to the Dodgers game.
If we were smart and planned it out correctly, we would have went to the first game of the year, the day previously, and probably would have seen some celebs and whatnot. Because everybody who's anybody goes to the Dodgers game, right?
That's true.
In LA, right?
You can see celebrities at a Dodgers game.
And we had some pretty good seats too, fortunately. And it was a good game. It was a great experience. So, LaRusse is going off right now.
Managers don't get thrown out very often anymore.
I know.
Not with video replay.
I know. This guy's old school, but I think Abreu just got hit by a pitch, and I think maybe both dugouts got warned. But yeah, back to the Dodgers. Go Dodgers! Hopefully they win tonight because
hope so.
I love close series like that, and they're like my last team that I have anything kind of invested in. And I see you wearing the Dodgers gear like you always do. So
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, man.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
All right, it's happening tonight. Dodgers are winning. The other series is on right now. It's the Braves against the Brewers. That one's 2-1 as well. For the Brewers, I believe.
Braves.
And,
yeah.
Is it the Braves?
I think so.
And I want the Braves to win that one. That's because they got some former Blue Jays on there and whatnot, so kind of got a bit invested in that. That current score is still 0s at the top of the third. Not that it matters to the listeners, because by the time they hear this, it's going to be over.
That's right.
And yeah, so hopefully the Dodgers take it, and hopefully it's going to be, by the looks of it, it's going to be Houston, Boston in the ALCS. What do you think about that?
Go Dodgers. That's what I think about that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, well, I like Walker Buehler. That kid is a stud, and if he does anything close to what Scherzer did yesterday,
They got a chance.
you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's a chance. Oh man,
I like it.
So I do this segment on This Week in Sports called This Week in Sports History.
Okay.
I just kind of look back at some things that's happened in the past. I got a few marked down that I can speak on right now. Just one that I got a couple stories personally from trips to Toronto and such and whatnot that I'll get into. But I seen this post earlier this week. This is unbelievable. This is freaking unbelievable. The biggest, most lopsided score in American football history happened this week, 105 years ago. October 7th, 1916, Georgia Tech defeated Cumberland College. Get this, 222-0.
Ooh. They covered the spread.
I think they did.
Yeah.
in the biggest blowout in football history, American football history.
Holy.
How does I was reading some of the.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Cumberland got the opening kickoff. They didn't even make a first down, and then they punted it. I guess that was returned for a touchdown, and then they fumbled it, and it was just a course of all those the worst things that could happen, and somehow, freaking Georgia Tech scored 220 points. I just thought that was a crazy thing that happened in This Week in Sports history, because that'll never happen again.
No, it's hard to put up that many points in that short a time. It really is.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Speaking of football, though, also before I get into these other stories, what do you think about the Elks? They're not doing very well.
No, and it pains me to see it because I love going to the games.
I know.
I have so much fun. It's just, to me,
They're
it's just
so much fun, but this year it's like that I have not even been watching really, and I'm just looking at the scores, and I'm like,
I hope they figure it out.
dude, we got smoked 30-3 this past weekend.
Yeah, and they got Winnipeg again this week, except it's here. So, of the 3 home games I've been to, the game against Winnipeg, which was the last home game, was the most exciting.
Yeah.
The one against Ottawa, they handed on a platter. The one against Montreal, they were never in. And the one against Winnipeg, they actually had an opportunity to win that game when it was here at Commonwealth. And it didn't go their way, but they were in it, and it was exciting, which is all you can ask for. So I'm hoping this week, I hope they're in it, and I hope it's exciting. I'm not expecting them to win.
Well, I mean, we have to run the table just to get a chance to go.
Oh, no, they're not making the playoffs. No. That's not happening.
We play, what, on Saturday?
Friday. They play Friday night.
Are you going to be to this game? Are you going to go to this game?
Yes. Yes, I will.
Well, maybe I'll join you. Maybe I'll because I haven't been to a game yet this year. And I, like, at the beginning of the year, I was like, I want to go to a game. I want to go to some games, right? Because it's such a good time, such a good time. But then I started seeing these scores and this record, and it's like,
well, I'm with them thick or thin. I'm not a fair weather fan when it comes to the football team. So
fair enough.
That goes. It's deep seated.
Fair enough.
Going to games since I was a kid.
Well, I remember when you're like the first person I seen with like the new Elks gear when I came over to your crib that one time. I was like, this guy's got the new swag.
Yeah. I like the new swag. They've done a pretty good job with it. Yeah, it's nice.
Well, like the name's starting to grow on me a little bit.
You'll come around. Yeah.
Well, a few more wins would have freaking sped it up, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you're right. That would have sped it up.
Jeez. A personal note, though, on This Week in Sports History, I remember I mentioned it to you. My first trip to Toronto.
Yes.
Happened this week 5 years ago, actually, which is crazy. 2016.
Wow.
What? Went to Toronto in anticipation for the ALDS after Edwin Encarnacion clinched the wild card game against. This was the year
against Baltimore, right?
Against Baltimore. This was the year after the Batista bat flip.
Yeah.
right? So it was all eyes on the Blue Jays, right? Because we were all still hyped. We saw all the same players, and
Yeah.
Edwin hit that extra innings home run, punched my ticket to Toronto because I'm like, if they win this game, I'm going to Toronto. I booked a ticket to Game 4 because I thought I was going to go at least 4 games, right? So I bought a ticket to Game 4, and then watched the first 2 games in Edmonton. My flight to Toronto was overnight, and I got there the morning of Game 3.
Oh, the nasty red eye flight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
overnight.
that's a tough one.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, man, I was just excited to go to
whatever
Toronto.
it takes.
I was just excited to go to Toronto for the first time. So, but watching the first 2 games, we beat the Royals, the first 2 games.
Yeah.
So we were up 2-0, and I'm flying to frickin' Toronto, and I'm like, shit, I don't know if this is going to go 4 games. I got to somehow find a way to get a ticket to Game 3.
Yeah. You don't get shut out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not going to go there. Hopefully, I'm going there for a game, right? This is the whole reason why I'm going. I want to be there for that. So I can't remember how I was talking to somebody, or I can't remember how it came about where I learned that the box office opens in the morning and they release some tickets.
Yeah. They've held back.
That they held back. I never really knew that until I think I talked to another Blue Jays fan, and he mentioned that on the way there. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to Rogers Center as soon as I land. So I land in Toronto. I don't even go to my hotel or nothing. I go right to Rogers Center. Right there. It's like, I don't know, like 8 a.m. or something. And get there. There's already like 50 people lined up, some of which camped overnight.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, the box office opens at 10. I'm like, okay, so
right.
just hang out. I hung out for like an hour and a half, whatever, right? And thankfully, everyone, like all the people in front of me, they were looking for groups of tickets. So all of a sudden, the first ticket that came available was a single ticket, and no one there wanted a single ticket. And I was
like,
I was there by myself. Everyone's there, like they look behind, they're like, anyone wants a single ticket? Anyone wants? Like,
yes!
Yeah, right fucking here. Yeah,
I just flew all night.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I waltzed my ass right up to the front of the line, right? Boom, right to the box office. They're like, I'm expecting to be like $200 or something, right? $300, $500 or some shit, right? They're like, $66.
Here you go.
It's slightly obstructed. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm in the building. Like, yes. So the slight obstruction, it was in the 5th deck, but it was right behind home plate. The slight obstruction was a little rail in front of me, but it was perfect though because I was standing the whole time, and I used that rail to jump on and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it was mint, and it was right on the edge, right on the corner of this, like perfect seat for individual. And I cheered my heart out. It was the game where Donaldson took home off an error in the 10th inning, the Donaldson dash. They called it the Donaldson dash. Man, I just watched a highlight of it the other day when it came up on my feed as 5 years ago or whatever. And I still can't believe I was there, man. The biggest sporting event I've ever been to, right? 50,000 people cheering, going off. Man, at the end of the game, I was just devastated. I was sitting back in my seat, like just done, right? Like just like damn near napping, right? And the people behind me kept coming down. They're like, yo, man, we seen you cheer up. We seen you cheering from up there. Like, you must be like the biggest. I'm like, yeah, man, I came from Edmonton for this. They're like, you must be exhausted. I'm like, yeah, man.
You probably slept hard that night.
Oh, dude, I was like jumping around like a little kid that whole game, man. That was my first MLB game.
Oh, my.
It was a playoff game. Yo, when it comes to first, man, I don't fuck around.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. When it comes to first, I don't fuck around. First time I ever flew in a plane, I jumped out of it. I went skydiving.
You jumped out of a perfectly good plane.
Yeah. First time ever in flying. First time ever in flying. First time ever outside of the country. I went to Australia by myself.
Wow.
Yeah. First time ever swimming in the ocean was in Sydney, and there was a shark warning. They had to get everyone out of the fucking water because there was a shark that was spotted.
Yeah.
Second time I ever swam in the ocean was Great Barrier Reef, scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef. So when it comes to these firsts, man, I don't mess around, man.
No, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, like you said, life's too short.
Oh, life's too short.
Life's too short, man. If you're going to do it, do it big.
Do it big.
So skydiving, everyone should do, including you, Cam.
I don't know.
Do it. Scuba diving. Go scuba diving. That shit's so much fun. It feels like you're in a different world.
Okay.
And go to Australia, because Australia is beautiful, man.
I've heard that.
Oh, it's amazing, man. It's so amazing. 5 years ago, also, I went to the Hockey Hall of... You've been to the Hockey Hall of Fame, right?
Yep.
That's the first time I went there, man.
It's pretty good, hey?
Oh, my God.
Like,
what
you
an
need
amazing
some time
place.
there.
You need
some time.
You need like a week there, man.
Yeah.
To read every little placard, every piece of memorabilia.
It's pretty cool.
It's amazing, dude.
I would like to do the baseball one too.
Oh, that's in Cooperstown.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty good.
Yeah, bucket list for sure. But when I went to for the first time was 5 years ago on that same trip, right? When I went to see the Blue Jays. Recently, I went there again, and they had the Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky exhibit.
Oh yeah,
Incredible, man.
incredible.
Some of those stats.
Yeah, oh, it's unbelievable.
They're so ridiculous. I can't even fathom it.
Yeah,
But yeah, if you ever find yourself in Toronto, make sure you check it out and make sure you give yourself like hours,
Yeah.
at least. At least. There's so much stuff in there. It's amazing. Cage Exteriors, my cousin's company. They do everything on the exterior of houses, from siding to the roofs. If you need work done, or if you're actually looking for work, they're looking for good employees. They're based out of Calgary, but pretty much anywhere in Alberta, I'm sure they'll be willing to work on your house if need be. And like I said, they're good people. So if you want to work for them, do it up. Because yeah, they're currently looking for workers, and yeah, like if you want to work with an experienced and dynamic company, finding the right expert at the right time can be tricky. That's why Cage Exteriors made sure that collaborating with us is straightforward and hassle-free. To start, you can find our results, our skills, and more about the range of services we offer on their website. That's cageexteriors.com. Cage is spelled with a K. It's KAGEXTERIORS.com .com for those people that can't spell. cageexteriors.com. And then when you're ready to discuss your project or just need a little advice and direction, get in touch with the team, and the guys at Cage will find the right solutions for you. The phone number, if you're looking for any inquiries about employment or anything such as far as like exterior of your own house, you would want to call Greg. His number is 403-971-2523. Or you can go to the website, like I said, cageexteriors.com, cage with a K, or call Greg at 403-971-2523. Cage Exteriors, best exterior company in the biz, run by my cousin Amy and her husband Greg. So give them a shout. Also, a personal little advertisement for my baseball team, the baseball team that I'm on, called the E-Town Riots. If you're looking for to play some ball, actual like hard ball, come out on Saturdays and Sundays. We play at Rundle Park at 2 o'clock. Get at me on my social medias, or just show up at Rundle at 2 o'clock, because we're always there. We're always playing. I mean, it's getting later in the year, so we play till the sun goes down, and all levels are welcome. We got a bunch of different people, a diverse group of people that play with us. We're called the E-Town Riots. We just have a good time, fun time, have some beers, play some ball, hang out with friends, and just enjoy our weekends. And another big reason why I'm bringing it up on the podcast here is we are looking to rent out Remax Field, formerly Telus Field, downtown Edmonton, where the Trappers used to play, the Cracker Cats, Prospects, and they have a new team in there for next season. But they're renting it out, the field and all the amenities there, and we're looking to rent that in the next couple of weeks before the season before like there's snow all over the ground. So yeah, if you're looking to play some ball, get out and have some fun on weekends, come through. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll be looking to play at Remax Field, and that'll be just exceptional, like an actual field, lights on and everything. It'll feel like a big league game, just for a bunch of. I was about to call us amateurs, but we're better than that. E-Town Riots, come check us out, Rundle Park, 2 o'clock every Saturday, and we play on Sundays too. But yeah, Cam, I really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah,
man.
no problem.
We
Glad
got
to be a part of it.
no. It means a lot. It means I've been hyping this up to my friends and my family and whatnot. I'm like, yo, I met Cam Moon.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
the oldest play-by-play
Okay.
guy. He's like the nicest, easygoing guy, and he's gonna be on the podcast.
I
No
hope I live up
frickin'
to
way.
the hype.
Oh no.
I
You did
don't
well.
know.
This was a good good season preview, and I really enjoyed it. Man, we got to do this again though.
We will.
I know you're obviously gonna be busy as hell through the season, but I know the Olympics are coming.
Yep.
You're gonna have the Olympics in February, so maybe if you
Yeah,
have some time off or some
couple
shit,
weeks off. Yep.
yeah, during then or whenever possible, we got to do this again because I really appreciate it.
Sounds good.
And I know you don't want to hear this whatnot, but you're like a mentor to me, man, because you're doing what I want to do, and you're a super nice guy, and I'm looking forward to hearing some of your calls on 6:30 Ched.
Right on. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this was This Week in Sports. I'm Josh Jacko. This is Cam Moon. Make sure you catch him on I'm sure all the older fans have heard him. You'll catch him on 6:30 Ched this season, and he's been a great guest. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Talk to you next time. Adios.